It's been now 4 days since I've had my surgery. I have gone on probably 3 or 4 walks that have been over an hour long and hiked up some hills today. All my pain's gone. I don't have any numbness in my fingers anymore. The radiculopathy is gone. I came to Cyprus to have a procedure done on my neck. And one of the reasons I came was the outstanding care that I've heard from several physicians that I know in the United States, and they recommended that I come to Cyprus in order to get my procedure and my neck fixed. So I made some arrangements and looked into it, and it has been a great experience for me. What I had was a bone spur in my neck at the cervical C5 and C6 joints. The bone spur was actually poking into my spinal cord and caused a lot of pain, as well as some numbness in my forefinger and my palm. And I've had this for about a year and a half. And finally I went to the physician, who said that you need to get that taken care of as quick as you can, and here's some recommendations that we have. And it affected my life in that I could not work out as much as I'd like to. I couldn't ride my bike because my neck was hurting all the time. I couldn't lift weights as much because I had weakness in my left arm. So it was affecting my quality of life, as well as it was painful most of the time. So I came to Cyprus to get that taken care of. I heard about AIMIS from a friend of mine who is actually an orthopedic spine surgeon in Medford. And he had a friend of his who's another neurosurgeon that was doing cases here. And so we looked into when the next scheduled cases were going to be completed, and it just worked out in my schedule that he was coming to Cyprus this year, and so I made reservations to come and meet him and get my procedure taken care of here in Cyprus through AIMIS. Once the contact was made with my doctor, the AIMIS team basically took over and started setting up times and dates and schedules and communicating mostly via email, since we have a 10-hour time difference. So we had been communicating quite a bit between the team here, and once I had my flight set up, I got all the information on my implant, the information regarding my health. All the x-rays and MRIs were sent to AIMIS. I filled out the brochures, or all the patient information as well, and we just went from there. And once the date was set, then the communication was ongoing until I arrived at the airport. When I arrived at the airport, I was picked up in a real nice Mercedes limousine and taken to the hospital for some tests, which went really fast. Once that was completed, I was taken to the hotel for the night before the procedure. And then the next morning, first thing, I met with the doctor and the anesthesiologist and went through what the plan was to do. And as far as I know, since I was asleep, it went really well. Once the procedure was over, I was taken back to my room and woke up and spoke to the physician again, and he said everything went great and kind of walked me through what he did, which he was basically, I kind of knew ahead of time what he was going to do, but he just confirmed what the procedure was and how it went, and he said it went really well and he'd be following up in the next couple of days. And then once he was out of the picture, for the most part, the AIMIS team took over with coordinating your care between the hospital and the hospital staff. They came in and followed up probably 4 or 5 times a day just to see how I was doing. Did I have everything I needed? Here's what was going to happen next. And then once I was discharged from the hospital, I was taken to the hotel, which is a 5-star hotel here in Limassol, right on the beach. And the follow-up here has been very, very nicely done with all the AIMIS group. You see the physical therapist every day, you see the physician every day, and just to make sure you're progressing as as it should be, which is for infections as well as your physical therapy part of the procedure. Coming from the United States, I actually run a surgery center in the United States, so I'm pretty familiar with what surgical facilities look like. And when I got to the facilities at the American Institute, I got a brief tour of the facility, and it's very, very nice. It's almost brand new. It's a gorgeous facility, and it has all the state-of-the-art equipment that you would need to do these types of procedures, as well as probably even more advanced procedures. So I was very impressed, and very impressed with the staff as well. The nurses were really well trained. They were very professional and kind as well. So it was a great experience at the hospital. When I did my own research on the facility in Cyprus, you can take a nice visual tour just on the internet, and so you get kind of a feel for what it's going to be like. But when you actually see it and get to experience the tour of the operating rooms, the recovery rooms, you can just tell they're top notch. There was no expense spared. You can tell the labs, all that stuff is just up to date, and at least, if not above, equal to the United States standards. Working in my surgery center in Medford, Oregon, I would say the operating rooms have probably more advanced equipment than we have, just from it's more of a hospital setting, obviously, than our surgery center, so they can do much bigger procedures. But it's from a technical standpoint, it was very impressive, and I'd say it's at least equal to, if not better than, a lot of the hospitals that are in the United States. When I found out my surgery was going to be in Cyprus, I figured I'd better do a little research, because I wasn't exactly sure where that was. I knew it was sort of around Greece, but I was surprised that it was actually closer to Turkey and the Middle East. It's only been 4 days post-surgery now. I found that it's a very safe place. Very few problems here. The traffic is not bad. I'd be able to go out and walk and see some very historical sites. The beach is great. The weather is perfect. It's about 70 degrees Fahrenheit here, and it's in the middle of December. So it's been a very comfortable place to go out and see some sights, even 4 days out from my surgery. So I've had no restrictions from that standpoint at all, and the food has been very good here at the hotel, and that's really about as much as I can say about Cyprus. It's been a great experience so far, and I'd like to come back. I would definitely recommend anyone that needs surgery for their spine to consider coming to Cyprus to get that procedure done. I know that I have a friend of mine who's a spine physician who's been here 3 or 4 times, and he is an outstanding physician, and he loves coming here and doing the surgeries because he knows the facilities are wonderful, and he knows the people really take good care of you. So I would have no reservation recommending anyone coming here that needs any kind of surgery for their neck or their lower spine. I heard about Dimicron from a couple of surgeons that I know that specialize in total disc replacements. They recommended not getting a fusion for my neck, since I have good spaces below and above, and they just basically a fusion can possibly mess up those other ones that are actually good joints. So they recommended getting a total disc replacement, and then we went through a few alternatives, and they were both pretty excited about a new product that had just came out that was available, unfortunately not in the United States, but in a study through the Demicron group, and they were both said this could be possibly kind of a one and done kind of a deal, where you get it put in and it would last you the rest of your life without any worries. And they liked the design, they liked the way it had these diamond bearing surfaces that'll never wear out, as well as the coefficient of slipperiness that this thing has, so there's no, your range of motion is totally preserved, and it also kind of mimics the way your spine moves when you turn your head side to side. It raises up and kind of goes back down in these little cups. So I was, just looking at it mechanically as well as kind of scientifically, you go, okay, this is like way better than the other ones we were looking at, which kind of look at range of motion from one side or the other, not like a 360 kind of a thing. So to me, it looked like the best alternative by far. And with these two physicians that I know who are top-notch surgeons recommending it, I had no reservations of going forward with this. Unfortunately, I had to come to Cyprus, but fortunately, in the long run, it was great coming to Cyprus. So at first, I was like, oh boy, I got to fly 21 hours to get this thing done. But in the long run, it's been a great experience that way. It's been now 4 days since I've had my surgery. I have gone on probably 3 or 4 walks that have been over an hour long and hiked up some hills today to look at some ruins. And other than my neck being a little bit tight, I've had no problem eating, just doing activities of daily living, taking a shower, tying your shoes, that kind of thing. So all my pain's gone. I don't have any numbness in my fingers anymore. The radiculopathy is gone. I don't have anybody prior to the surgery, it felt like somebody was always sticking a finger into my neck. So that is all gone as well. So that had gone away right after the surgery, actually. So other than the minor inconvenience of having a little bit of a stiff neck, I feel just like I did 20 years ago, or hopefully even longer than that ago. So, and I'm hoping it'll stay that way. Well, once I get home, I hope to resume doing the things I had been doing prior to having this bone spur in my neck, which was mountain biking, 2 or 3 hours at a time, which I couldn't do because of the pain in my neck. Also with the numbness, I couldn't lift weights as much anymore, at least free weights, because my left arm was weaker than my right arm, so I could not do that effectively without kind of being a little bit dicey without a spotter. So now I can hopefully go back to doing the weightlifting, the running, the cycling, and maybe even some swimming if I get back into that again. But I'm kind of hoping that it's one of those things where now it's completed that I just won't notice it's there, and it'll be just like part of my body like it was, 10 years ago where I didn't have any of this pain. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping, is after a year I won't even remember I even had it even done. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.